have is we have the solar tubes that we talked about. So the solar tubes gently warm the pool over time. And you have two things. You have the open and close of the solar tubes. So the solar tubes have to be, for the most part, they have to be empty at the end of the season. So in the fall, you gotta get the water to them. Probably the easiest way to get the water to them is to kind of let them boil dry for a while, and then if you have to, you just unhook the 4 panels, just kind of pull, 2 people, pull, tilt, and drain the water off. You could also take 1 tube out if you want to by unscrewing the bottom down here. It just gently unscrews and 1 tube would come out. You'd want to do this after you have the pump and everything turned off because you're done for the season. So just to reiterate the whole thing, the pool has been drained, it's kind of closing. The sun will heat these up, the water will actually boil off and you'll see steam coming out of them. Totally fine. Let them boil down for a couple weeks, no big deal, so they're nice and light if you have to. And then all you have to do is, you just have to detach them wherever they're joined with just these, kind of strapping hose clamps. Take the hose clamps off on 2 ends and you can just gently tilt them and you can dump all the water out of it and then set them back in place. It's your choice how you really want to get the water out. You can just let it boil dry for a while and then do it, or you can try and do it right away. But it does take 2 people to gently lift and turn them. The tubes do break easily if you're not careful. They are just thin glass, so just be really careful with the tubes. If you break a tube, there are spares in the garage still for, and I'll leave the phone number to get some more. In the spring, when you want to hook the system back up, it's no big deal. As long as you put all the hoses that you've taken apart. So if you took this apart here and this apart here, and you separate them, you got to put it back together. If you didn't separate them, you just let them drain off and you thought there was enough boiled dry, that's your choice. But you have to put it back together. So we'll just follow around here. So you got to do the same thing for all 4. And how long does it really take? If you let them boil dry and then you just disconnect them, you're probably at the most an hour's worth of work in the fall to close off these. And then remember, in the winter, keep the snow from piling up on them because the weight of the snow can crush the glass, okay? So as we come across here, this is the hose that goes into the system. And this hose, when we look at it, we follow in the ground, this hose is a Y out of the sand filter because there are 2 returns in this pool. We have 1 return that's coming directly through the regular system and 1 return that we saw on the other side of the pool that has to do with the solar tubes. So this valve, open and close, is just barely open to run water through it. If you've got it too far open, you'll see that the water is pouring out of the overflow at the other end. You want to close it down because it only needs about 2 pounds of pressure to move the water through those tubes, whereas the rest of the system has maybe 10, 12, 14 pounds of water pressure going through the regular return to the pool. Okay, so for the solar tubes, the opening and closing, we explained over there, but after you open it, it's a gentle amount of water running through them, and you can leave that run all summer. You never have to touch it once you get it correctly to the right spot, okay? So that's how the solar tubes work.